What's Beethoven's favorite fruit? Banana. All right, unconscious bad behaviors that you want to get rid of, but you do them unconsciously. Usually these are like little tiny behaviors, micro behaviors, things like, sighing when you disagree with someone or rolling your eyes. Okay, maybe it's biting your nails, maybe it's scratching your balls. Okay, there's all sorts of things, micro behaviors, little tiny behaviors that you may have a lot of trouble getting rid of. Now, breaking big behaviors, big habits, right? Let's say smoking or eating junk food. These are actually much easier to deal with because, in the case of eating junk food, well, what can you do? Don't buy junk food. Don't have it in your house, right? That's an easy first step. Okay, so there's all sorts of ways you can change your environment to make it harder, more difficult to engage in the behavior that you want to break. And that's a great place to start and very effective. The problem with these like little micro behaviors though is that you are the environment in which they happen, right? So like if you're sighing every time you disagree with something that someone says, right? This is not good for your communication. It's not good for your relationships, right? But what are you going to do? You can't remove yourself. You can't remove your need to breathe air, which is kind of the environmental constraint there. You can't remove other people saying things that you might disagree with, right? That's just part of being a human. So how do we deal with these things, right? The other issue, the bigger issue even potentially, is how small these things are, right? They don't take a lot of effort, right? So if you're gonna go eat junk food, you're like, what are you gonna do? You stand up, you go open the bag, right? It's a lot of steps to it. There's cognitive load associated with it. So, your brain gets a chance to think, do I wanna do this thing, right? And it's a choice. But when you're doing like a sigh, just out of habit, just a reactive, right? It's so small that it doesn't require much commitment. And, your brain is likely to just go into the behavior without even asking you, hey, do you want to sigh now? Or that's not how it goes. It just comes out of you before you can say anything about it. So how do we do this? Well, we can break these behaviors because we can recognize when they have occurred, all right? Now, the key here is to tie some other behavior to the behavior you want to get rid of. Tie it as quickly as possible, right? So as quickly following the behavior you want to get rid of, tie another behavior, stack another behavior on there. Now, this other behavior should be something that you can do anywhere, anytime. It doesn't require any sort of outside exogenous resource to engage in, right? So here's my suggestion. I'd say use isometrics. All you need is your body, right? It's real easy to do an isometric contraction. So here's an example. Put your hands together, push and pull, right, with your tricep muscle and your bicep muscle, like that for a second. Or it can be with your neck, or it can be a chest squeeze, or it can be with your legs, or whatever you want, but do an isometric. Now, the key here, as I said, tie it very quickly in terms of timing to the behavior you want to break. That's one. The other is consistency. So every time you do the behavior that you want to get rid of, make sure that you then throw this isometric contraction on the end so that your brain starts to associate these two behaviors closely enough that it sees them as one compound, larger behavior. And because now the behavior is a larger engagement, it requires more time, more resources, right? It's more complicated to do. Your brain is going to start saying, do I really want to do this thing before it does the thing? And that's your opportunity to say, no, I don't want to do that. I want to stop doing that. Okay, so it gives you the foot in the door that you need to start breaking these unconscious behaviors. Thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, put them down there in the comments and I will get back to you. If you found this video at all helpful or useful, please like and subscribe. And remember, you are already someone's hero. Now you get to earn it. Go be super.